This is my last full day in the office before I fly out next week on my Churchill fellowship to find out some more about trauma-informed care with people with learning disabilities and autism. The proposal for this trip came out of both my research and also our work at Unique Connections, where we specialise in working with young people with severe learning disabilities and autism who self-injure. And we just became increasingly aware for those with particularly intractable self-injury or like chronic distress, that there is often a trauma root underneath that, which can be very difficult to address with a person who has little or no spoken communication. And so trauma-informed care is increasingly applied into all sorts of different settings. There's some great resources out there, particularly for schools, in terms of how they can become more trauma-informed. But we're also aware, and anecdotally I've had a number of conversations with particularly school principals who have said, you know, we've brought in trauma-informed care training. It was really, really helpful. The broad principles are useful. But as soon as we get to actually how do we support the young people in our care who are showing signs of being traumatised, we become unstuck, because particularly in schools with that support predominantly young people with severe learning disabilities and autism, these young people have no spoken communication. It's sometimes very difficult to gauge what the receptive communication skills are like. And so, we've been having lots of conversations with people just saying, we don't really know where to go from here because it doesn't feel applicable to us. But we believe and have been working at, on some solutions around this at Unique Connections, like how can we engage in difficult emotional work with young people who have no spoken communication. And so the goal of the trip to the US is to go and find out as much as I can in this field. And actually, interestingly, in the US, there's no clear answer to this problem either. Like, how do we support young people with no spoken communication who are traumatized? How do we best do that? There's no one like organization I could go to that's answering that question. So what I'm doing is I'm going like to about, I think, 8 or 9 different cities around the East Coast, and I'm meeting with a whole range of specialists in this field who each have a little piece of the pie, if you like. So I'm going to see researchers at universities, I'm going to see specialist schools and care homes and care providers. I'm going to meet with intervention services who intervene in crisis with people with learning disabilities and autism. I'm going to 2 trauma institutes just to learn as much as I can about the best practice with helping organisations particularly to become trauma informed. And I'm meeting up with a number of specialists. And then I'm finally finishing up in DC to meet some policymakers. So it's going to be completely wild trip. I've never done anything like this before. But I felt like as I learn and as I meet some really incredible people and go to some incredible places, best thing to do is just to share the learning real time with you. So I'm going to do that through this channel. So I'm really thanks for watching, thanks for your interest. And I'm going to keep posting. So subscribe to the channel and then you'll get the updates to say when the next video has come up. And love to hear from you in the comments, or get in touch and any questions you have about what I'm doing so that we can share the journey together.